May is National Melanoma Skin Cancer Prevention Month, and melanoma is the most lethal form of skin cancer, caused by unrepaired DNA damage to skin cells from UV radiation. Every year in the United States, there's an estimated 20,000 new cases and 10,000 deaths. Now, a biopharmaceutical company is on a mission to transform the future of medicine with a new cancer drug called NBS-20, the groundbreaking new therapy that literally turns cancer against itself. And having just received a major grant, we could see this product on the market in the next few years and maybe save a lot of lives. It is a pleasure to welcome to MidPoint the CEO of NeoStem, Dr. David Mazzo. Doctor, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Ed. It's a pleasure to be here.
When I heard those words about the deaths with regard to skin cancer, is it not fair to say that many people just don't, when they hear the words cancer, they don't think of skin cancer, they think of the really invasive lung cancers, things like that. We don't think this is a big deal as a society sometimes, do we?
No, I think many people think that skin cancer is benign, and in fact basal cell cancer is something that's often easily removed and treated. What happens though is that when people ignore this and it turns into the later stages of metastatic cancer where it does spread, that's when it becomes serious and it becomes a major cause of death in the United States.
So tell us about this drug and how this came about, because it just seems as if you're sitting right on the edge of having something that could be revolutionary.
It is, and it's very interesting. The journey that brought us to NBS-20 started a number of years ago with an idea that was promoted by our current Vice President of Oncology, Dr. Bob Dillman. And he had the idea that if we could isolate those cells that cause cancer to proliferate, that is what many people call the cancer stem cells, and find a way to teach the immune system to target those specifically, you might have a way to prevent distant metastases and in fact prolong life in cancer. And so with that idea as the basis, we've embarked upon a development program that has led us now into the last stage of clinical development called Phase 3, and we have this NBS-20 product in Phase 3 doing just that, teaching the immune system to target the specific proliferating cancer cells and hopefully to prevent distant metastases, and survival will be increased.
As we're watching some of the animation here and I'm looking at it, is this almost as if teaching the good cells in your body to sniff out the melanoma, if you will, to find a way to attach to it and go after it in that sense?
Well, that's exactly it. What has been determined over time is that the tumors that are involved in melanoma are often very patient-specific. They have what we call a specific antigenic fingerprint. In layman terms, it means that everyone's tumor is slightly different and very specialized. So if you can teach a person's immune system to focus on the cancer proliferating cells that are specific to their cancer, you should have a way to prevent distant metastases, to kill the cancer before it could take hold in a distant place, and as a result to prolong survival. And that's really the concept behind NBS-20.
Trials take so long and it takes so many years. Now you've got almost $18 million in a grant from the California Institute for Regenerative Medicine. What does that now allow you to do to go forward?
Well, the money from CIRM, as we call it, the California Institute of Regenerative Medicine, is really critical to us from two perspectives. Clearly, financially, this provides a little more than a third of the capital necessary for us to complete the development program, and that really eases the financial burden. But it also provides what we would consider scientific or medical validation of the promise that this therapy holds, because CIRM puts us through, or puts all grant applicants through, a very rigorous review process by an august body of physicians and scientists, and to be granted such a large award for a program such as this is really, I think, very memorable for us and really promising for the industry.
I know just enough about medicine to be dangerous, so I'm going to be very careful when I say this, but with about 60 seconds left, are we at a point right now where this could one day be a cure for these types of cancers?
Well, we certainly hope so. I mean, I'm very careful about using the word cure, but clearly the data that we've generated through the earlier clinical programs in Phase 2 demonstrates that we have the promise of prolonging life significantly by years in these patients. And we have patients, in fact, one who spoke on our behalf at the CIRM grant hearing, who is now alive 11 years after receiving our treatment, receiving the treatment at a time when a typical survival for a patient of that type would have been 1 to 2 years maximal.
20 seconds left here. If everything goes according to plan, how long before this could get into the general public?
I think our best case scenario would be we could be available to the public in late 2018 or early 2019.
It is fascinating to me, as certainly somebody who's had members of his own family that has had these, and I've actually had a couple of these, really, the small ones removed, the moles removed, and I've had doctors for so many years, because I'm light-haired and light-skinned, they say, you've got to watch for the rest of your life to make sure it happens, and I'm constantly checking. So, I mean, what you're doing here is something that is really going to save a lot of lives. I wish you a lot of luck with it. Thank you so much for joining us, Doctor. We will follow up, and let's hope this gets to a lot of the people at the right time.
Thank you for your interest.
All right, my pleasure. Take care. When we come back, how about a little self-drive through the city? Through a city, not the country. Next from the Car Coach.